Everybody. So lots of people have been asking me for my take on overspraying fragrances. Now, first and foremost, I think it's really important to understand that the term overspraying can mean a different number to so many people. It really does vary. There's not a set number that the whole entire world has agreed on where we're all like, yeah, anything that pushes past 5 is labeled overspraying, different from person to person. Now, for me personally, when it comes to wearing fresh and clean fragrances like Creed Silver Mountain Water or Elysium by Roche Parfums, I tend to do 5 to 8 sprays, sometimes 5 to 10. But if I'm hitting those kind of fragrances with 8, 9, or 10 sprays, that's mainly because I'm going to be outdoors all day. Like I'm going to the beach, I am just going to be outside and breathing in the fresh air, and I'm not going to be confined in a room with other people. You know what I mean? So with the long-lasting fragrances that perform really well, like Carlisle, Tobacco Vanille, Baccarat Rouge 540, with those, I do around 3 to 6. I don't wear Baccarat Rouge 540, but I saw it in the background. But if I'm doing 6 sprays of those kinds of fragrances, again, that's when I'm out mainly at nighttime and just in that night air, again, not confined to a room or a small space. Now, with weak performing fragrances like L'Homme, La Nuit de l'Homme by YSL and Versace the Dreamer, I totally advocate for overspraying those because the performance is pure ass. You will not get amazing performance from those scents doing 3 to 5 sprays. After a couple hours, you might be like, whoa, where did it go? You know what I mean? So with those, you can do over 10 and it's not really a problem. But of course, gauge it to what your nose can handle. If 10 sprays of that is too much for you, then take it down. It all depends on what you're comfortable with and the situation you're getting yourself into or what you're doing. If you're going to be on a road trip in a small car for 5 hours, then yeah, don't do 5 sprays or 10 sprays, even if the fragrance is soft, because it's going to suffocate everybody else around you. Now, yeah, overspraying to an extent can be fine, but I don't do it across the board because I think it's really important to have self-awareness and consideration of other people around you. I promise you that if you're doing 20 sprays of Risala, even if you just did 3, the whole entire room would still be able to smell you. It's not a spectrum that you have to choose from 2 extremes where, oh, I have to overspray or else, like I have to overspray so people can smell me, or I don't overspray and nobody can smell me. There is a way that you can meet in the middle, and it's honestly the sweet spot for it all. Because when I wear Carlisle and I have about 6 sprays of it on me, well, actually, when I had the sample, I could spray a bit more because the distribution is not the same as the full-size bottle. But if I had the full-size bottle, doing 5 to 6 is perfect for, a nighttime sort of event. And it does, like when I've worn it, it does have that intoxicating, alluring kind of, it radiates that sort of smell. And it's just the perfect amount when I do about 5 to 6 sprays, well, the equivalent of 5 to 6 sprays from my sample one, right? Where people just come up to me and like, yeah, you smell really good. And they put their nose closer to my chest or in my neck. And they're just like, yeah, I love that. I've never smelled something like that before, I would still like, and yes, even if you do 20 sprays of that, yeah, people will smell it definitely. But I will tell you right now, if you've ever been in this situation, and I feel like a lot of you have, because I think it's almost a universal experience where you've been in an elevator or a room with somebody that just went absolute overkill with their fragrance. And the first thing in your mind isn't, oh, wow, they smell amazing. They smell powerful. That's really strong. I love that. I wonder what it is. At least the first thought that comes to my mind is, holy shit, get me the fuck out of this elevator. I don't want to smell that. It's just too much and it's annoying. And even when I'm in bars and clubs and I'm just grabbing the drinks, just waiting for the drinks, and there's somebody next to me that went overkill with their fragrance, it is not attractive. In fact, I kind of turn my head and hold my breath and start breathing through my mouth, just waiting for my drink to come as soon as possible, because I want to be as far away from that person. So yes, if you're telling me, but when I wear Restylane and I do 20 sprays, I get the head turning reaction that I want. That's great, but I'm telling you right now that a lot of the head turns you're getting, for the most part, are probably not positive sort of head turns. When I'm out with some friends, these are words from my friends or just anybody that I have been out with, and we smell somebody that is really pushing strong, what they say is, what the fuck, or fuck that person, you know what I mean? Because it's just like, it comes across as like inconsiderate and insensitive, and of like, really, do you really need to do that much? You know, kind of like an overcompensation of some sort, you know? But, you know, each person is different, right? There are some people that go nose blind to things, so I understand it. But from what I've seen, people that know that they go nose blind to fragrances don't put themselves in situations where they know other people can smell them, and they're just gonna be in like a small space, like having the air just radiate and bounce off the walls, where everyone's like, oh man, that's too much. And it makes everybody else kind of just turn their heads and walk away, you know? So you can have the best of both worlds. It really doesn't take a lot to be mindful and considerate to other people. It's really not that hard to still smell good and do both those things that I just mentioned. And for the most part, when you smell nice and it's noticeable, but it's not too much and it's just the right amount, that's when people come and approach you and they're like, hey, like, I really love that, versus somebody that went overkill. For the most part, people are not going to come up to them and be like, wow, that smells amazing. They're going to be like, ooh, you know, and just kind of turn and walk away. That's just what I've seen with my experience, especially with a scent like Restylane that performs 24 hours already with 1 to 2 sprays. I don't see the need to do 20 of that. But of course, everyone has a different number of what they consider overspraying and what their range is. But anyways, let me know what your range is of the numbers that you tend to stick to, and what fragrances are kind of your favorites that you use in your rotation. But I hope that was insightful to some extent to the people that asked me. But the main takeaway, definitely overspray those weak fragrances and apply them based on the kind of party or venue event situation you're putting yourself or you're getting yourself into. And just know that you can still be noticeable, it still smell good, and still be considerate of others all at the same time. And it's really not a hard thing to do at all. It is super easy if you have any sort of self-awareness. Okay, so please go out there, have fun, but be self-aware, all right? Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.